Hey all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Toybox Iron Man and his Hall of Armor playset from Disney. Now this is being sold as a Disney Store exclusive like all the Toybox figures are. You've got on the front of the packaging, and it is a rather large box that this set comes in, but on the front you've got some pretty cool artwork featuring the Toybox Iron Man in an Iron Man-like pose in his Hall of Armor, and then off to the side you've got a look at the actual Toybox Iron Man figure that's included in the set, along with some of the other accessories. Now on the sides of the packaging, all you've got is just the Marvel Toybox logo. And then on the back of the packaging, you get an image of the actual playset itself along with all the accessories in the figure. It also lists some of the features on the playset, including the ability to close up and form a case, which looks very similar to the briefcase that Iron Man had in Iron Man 2 for the Mark V armor. It also shows you how the panels are stackable, the mech suits that you can attach to the Iron Man figure, and also a lever that opens on the top of the playset. Alright, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure along with all the playset pieces out of the packaging. There is some minor assembly here that is required, and of course they have provided you an instruction sheet that shows you how to put everything together. So it should go without saying that these toy box figures and playsets are generally geared more towards younger kids than the adult collector. However, one of the things I will be exploring in the set is how well the Hall of Armor playset itself will work with, say, 6-inch Marvel Legend figures. But before we get into that, before we take a look at the actual Hall of Armor playset, let's first take a look at the Iron Man figure that is included in this set, along with the accessories specifically for this figure. Now, this is the same Iron Man figure that we've gotten previously in the Toybox line as a single card release. And the only real difference between this one in the playset and the single packed release version is they repainted these portions here, the non-red portions. They repainted on this one, it's more of a silver-like color. And on the single pack version, those parts are gold, or more of a goldish type color. So that's really it as far as differences. Otherwise, it's the same figure, definitely the same sculpt. You do have a very shiny red coat on this one, which I think actually looks pretty cool. And I do like the silver, you know, it kind of gives you that silver Centurion Iron Man look. I mean, obviously this isn't that design of armor, but the paint scheme kind of gives you that look and feel. Or maybe even like the Mach 5 from the MCU, since the playset itself does fold up to kind of form the case from Iron Man 2. But nevertheless, you know, the figure itself is the same thing that we've gotten before, and that's not uncommon. Generally, when they do vehicles and playsets, they just repack figures that they already did in single releases or vice versa. So again, that's not something terribly different. Besides the figure though, you do also get these extra mech attachment pieces, which obviously was not included with the single pack version. So you get two different kind of extra sets of armor that go on top of this one. So it would have been cool. I mean, these, you know, like this one is done in white and gray, which obviously doesn't really match up with the red and silver that much. It would have been almost cooler if they'd given us like a white figure and maybe, you know, so that you could put this on there so you could form kind of a matching armor. Again, though, this is for the kids, so this is really more of kind of a play feature as opposed to anything. Now, with this, you take this top piece and you just fit it on top there, and it just kind of snaps into place, and it does stay on there fairly securely. And then with the leg pieces, what you do with the white ones is you just pull them apart, and then you just place it over the foot, and then you just snap them back into place, and they should fit over, you know, get the feet pretty well. Now, one thing I want to note here is when you start putting these armor pieces on the figure, that tends, especially like this big piece here for his upper body, that tends to make the upper body heavy. And at least on my figure, the leg joints are kind of loose. So he'll stay standing. I haven't had him fall over, but getting him to stand straight up is somewhat difficult. So look for him to kind of maybe be a little slouched or kind of have his foot off to the side or what have you. That's the straightest I've been able to get him with the actual armor pieces attached. So it might just be with my figure having the loose joints, I don't know, but that's just something to be wary of. And then finally you get these arm pieces, or wrist pieces, whatever you want to call them. So you get this one that's like a bladed weapon, and all you do with these is you just put them over the hands. Now they don't stay too tight on the arm. The clamps kind of are bigger than the arm, so I don't know, if you push it up like that, it'll stay a little bit, but it doesn't fit that great. And then you also get this one, which is supposed to be like a clamp. And one thing to note here is they sculpted these hands originally, when they originally did this figure, they sculpted the hands to be open with the fingers kind of wide open. So that does make it kind of difficult to slide these clamp pieces. Now this is just done with a soft rubber, so you can kind of fool with it, and you can't get it over the hand. It just sometimes can take a little finessing. It doesn't just easily slide over. Now the bright side is it's not going to just fall off the hand, even though it does kind of fit loosely on there. It's not going to, it's not going to come over those fingers easily. Now with this one, it's supposed to be like a clamp or a grapple. So you've got this elastic rope and you just pull it, and then on this side you've got an actual working clamp. So it's in the open position, but you can close it. As soon as you let go though, it's going to pop back open. So, but you can use it to grab things or to grapple or what have you. So again, really just kind of done as a play feature. So, I don't think it looks, I don't think you ever saw Iron Man wearing anything like this, but, it's for the kids, so definitely will add some play value. And then the second one is done with blue, is mostly blue plastic with some dark gray. So again, with the hand pieces, you just slide them over the hands, and so with this one you get a clamp, which actually works. If you pull this lever, it clamps. Now this one actually, you can kind of lock it into place, so I like that. And then you get this one, it's like a fist pounder or such, so you can push it in a little bit, but it doesn't go all the way, so that's about as much as you can do it back and forth. But it's supposed to be like a pile driver or a fist pounder, whatever you want to call it. So those are the hand pieces on this one. Now with this, with the leg pieces, you get this kind of track like thing, so you can do it two ways. You can just put it on as a boot, and you just pull this piece open, and then you just slide the foot in there, and then you can close it up like that. Or you can take this track piece and you want to flip it all the way around so that there are these little wheels, and you want to make sure those are on the bottom. And so it then kind of elevates the figure up, so it acts as almost like a stilt, and you can do that on both of them. Of course, you want to do it on both of them, otherwise he wouldn't really stand. And you just put those around the feet, so now he's much taller. And then finally you get a top piece. Now with this one, you've got to lift these flaps. You've got these flaps that you want to make sure that you open up before you put it on the figure. And then you just put it over the top there, and it goes into place. And he's got these little drill things, so these you can actually kind of flip up if you want to. And then also you can turn the back piece, and it actually turns the drill. And here's a look at the blue pieces completely attached to the figure. Now neither one, I think, again, doesn't really look like something, you would see in the comics or anything, but as far as play feature goes, I kind of like the blue one better than the white. However, again, when you attach the pieces, it makes the figure kind of heavy, and especially with this figure with the loose joints, don't expect him to really stand straight, and he might even have a tendency to fall over. Okay, so now on to the actual Hall of Armor playset itself, and I think this is really cool. I think they've done a really good job with this, even though, again, this is really geared for the younger kids. You know, I think especially customizers and stuff could really, you know, add some minor touches to this and make it look good for Marvel Legends. And I will show you how Marvel Legends actually fit in this, how well they actually fit in this. But for the playset itself, you get 5 of these armor alcoves, you know, where you would essentially set figures in, so it looks like the armors are being displayed. You get this bottom piece, and you get this top piece, and then you get this ramp piece. So very easy to put together. Main thing you want to do is, this is your middle piece. This one is your middle alcove. You want to make sure this one's always going to be pretty much in the middle. And the way you know that is you've got this little hole piece on one end, and you've got this piece that sticks out on the other end. All the others are essentially, they do not have that. So this is your central piece, and this is the one that's going to connect the lower piece and the upper piece of the actual Hall of Armor. So what you want to do is take this piece that sticks out, and then this floor piece, you're just going to plug this in, and it should just plug in like that. And then you take the upper piece, which has, you know, this will actually open. So, and they've also done this, and I'm going to show you this in a minute, where you can either have 1 or 2 levels. So if you bought more than one of these play sets, you could probably build it out even more. But with this top piece, you want to take this little piece that sticks out, and you're going to plug it in this hole here. So again, this is essentially your central part of your Hall of Armor. Now you can take this ramp piece, and you've got these little clips up here. This is the part that attaches to the actual playset, and then you've got, basically you're just going to push these pieces into here. And it says, you know, you basically come from the front and you push in, and it should just pop into place like that. Now at this point, all you need to do is just decide how exactly you want to set up your playset. So you can do all the alcove pieces here on the ground level, or again, you can start stacking up here on the second level. So basically on one side of these you have little clamps, and then on this side you've got the little bar pieces. So all you do is you just take it and just snap it in place. That's if you're going to build outward, you know, on the first level. If you want to start putting some of the pieces up here, you know, again, you have to start in the middle here. And what you do here is, you'll notice on the bottom, you've got these little pegs that stand out on one side, and then on this side you've got holes. So you want to make sure that here on this top piece, there's actually little pegs. So here, so you're essentially just going to plug up here at the top. You're just going to plug it in, and now you've got a second level. So again, it's really up to you, and then you can start essentially, you know, building out on 2 different levels. If you really want to do an effective looking Hall of Armor with 2 levels or even more, you're going to have to buy more than one playset. They really don't give you enough alcoves to effectively do 2 levels, but you have that feature, that ability. And this playset actually is not terribly expensive. I believe it was going for about $30 on the Disney website. So, you know, if you want to get a couple of these, you know, it's not going to break the bank or anything. So we'll go on and finish building it out on the first level. Now before I start putting figures on this thing, I just wanted to point out 2 other features. So first of all, you'll notice this little piece that sticks down, which is, you know, you can push up or down. And this goes along with these armor attachment pieces. So if you want to make it look like, you know, he's standing there waiting for these armor attachment pieces to be put on him, you've got little holes on the chest piece of both sets of armor. And what you do is you just plug it in. So now it looks like he is got the armor piece that's getting ready to drop down over top of him. So again, just a kind of an added play feature, but a really kind of nice added touch to the overall playset. And then finally, this thing actually folds up, so you can kind of use it as a action figure carrying case of sorts. Now, they didn't really give you a handle. That's really the only drawback. But what you do is, once you have all these pieces attached, and this is assuming you just have all the alcoves on the bottom level, but these all come around, and you'll notice you have a hole and a peg on this piece on the top and the bottom, and then you also have holes and pegs on each of these alcoves. And the way it's supposed to work, and it does take a little bit where you've got to line everything up and get everything snapped into place, but essentially it all just comes around and forms, closes up essentially, and then you take the ramp piece and just close it in, and again it kind of forms an action figure case per se. There's no handle, so you can't carry it, but if you want to easily move your figures around, you can certainly do that. And it doesn't look quite like it did in the images. It's more circular than square or rectangle, but it's cool that they kind of added that. And on the outside, each of these alcoves are actually numbered, so that's a little bit of an added touch. Otherwise, they're just red on the outside and then kind of this grayish color on the inside. Though I do like this kind of venting that they added on the alcoves. I think that's a nice touch as well. Now, I'll start off by showing you some of the Toybox figures actually, in the alcoves and everything, and you can see they do fit nice. So I've only got 2 regular sized Toybox Iron Man figures. I couldn't find my other ones, so I've only got 2 here to show you. But, I think they've done at least 4 different Iron Man figures. So you should be able, if you've gotten all the Toybox Iron Mans that they've done, you should be able to fill out this Hall of Armor with various Toybox figures. Now, they did, of course, do also a Hulkbuster, which would not fit. It would take 2 alcoves to fit the Hulkbuster. So if you wanted to display that with your other armors, you'll have to just kind of set it to the side. But again, these Toybox figures definitely fit in there nicely and look pretty good. Okay, and then finally, the big question that I think is on everyone's mind is, will this work with Marvel Legend figures? And the answer is yes. It actually works quite well, surprisingly. I was really not expecting the Marvel Legends to work too good with this, but honestly, that is the main reason why I decided to get this set, because I thought if they did fit, this would actually be a cool display piece for all the different Marvel Legend Iron Man figures. So, this is the Alex Ross Anniversary Edition, and you can see he does fit in there. Now, the foot pegs don't really work with the Marvel Legends. The foot pegs are too thin, so you'll just have to kind of sit your Iron Man figures in there. But definitely the 6-inch Marvel Legend figures will fit in this thing. So, even if you're not into Toybox, I think this is worth checking out. And with a few slight modifications, like maybe adding some lights or something like that, I think this would make an awesome display piece. And here's a look at Iron Man figures and all the alcoves. These are all Marvel Legend figures. So I've got mostly comic book based, but I do have one movie figure in there as well. And they all seem to fit quite nicely. And then, of course, you can take your Tony Stark, whichever figure you want to use as your Tony Stark. I've got the classic Iron Man here, and you can stick him in the middle. And I think this looks great. So whether you're getting this for the kids to use with the Toybox figures and play with, or whether you want to get it yourself as an adult collector and use it to display your Marvel Legend figures, I think this is a set worth checking out. Now, I double checked on the price, and it looks like the regular price on this set is a little more than what I remembered. It's about $45. I think when I got mine, I got it off the Disney website, and it was on sale closer to $30. But still, $45 is not horrible, and, I may end up picking up a second set just so I can stack a second layer and see how that works. But, you could probably go, you could do 2 or 3 layers, it looks like, with this set if you really wanted to go all out. And then, of course, if you're into, customization and things like that, you might add lighting or, even touch up the paint a little bit. But I think even if you just don't do anything more to it, I think it looks really cool and will make a nice display piece. So that's it for my review. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, please hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. Stay safe out there, guys, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.